everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Last of Us Season 2 video. So it's been a while, but The Last of Us Season 2 will be airing in likely 3 months from now because we officially have the confirmed release date now, and that is that it will be coming out in April. And so I do want to talk about that and talk about this trailer because we actually got quite a bit of stuff in here, and I'm really interested in terms of how The Last of Us Season 2 is actually going to, I guess compete with The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, because both shows are airing in the spring, and now we know The Last of Us's release date, right? It's going to be in April, and so that's roughly been, when everyone thinks that Dead City Season 2 is going to be coming out, is going to be in spring of 2025, which would be April, because they have a lot of shows coming out later on in the summertime than in the fall. They have a lot of stuff coming out way later in the fall, so it just kind of makes sense that the release date for Dead City Season 2 is probably going to be late March or like April at least. And so I really feel like these shows are going to be competing against one another, which is going to be really interesting because I'm watching both shows and I'm going to have to review both shows every Sunday, right? Unless the release dates are different, but I imagine both shows will come out on Sundays. But yeah, anyways, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Last of Us content like this. But let's actually break down the trailer here. So the very first shots that we see here, I believe, are, a lot of what happens, I guess, in terms of Abby's backstory. And I guess, it's establishing why she wants revenge on Joel and a lot of that, right? So we're seeing Abby here. She's hearing a bunch of stuff going on. So this seems to be around that point here. This is likely going to be a flashback. I really feel like we're probably going to get like an Abby episode where it explains everything fully. And I do just wonder in terms of the structure of this show compared to the game and how they're going to handle a lot of it. Because obviously the one thing that everyone's really interested about is Joel's death, right? Like, how are they going to handle it? Because I don't think it's going to be something they're pushing off to season 3. I think it's going to happen here in season 2, but do they wait until the very end of the season? Do they do it in the very beginning of the season? Or is it just like a couple of episodes in, like halfway through the season? I'm really interested in that because I think that if the show chooses to kill Joel off like right away, right in the beginning of the season, it might have the same effect as it did in the game, right? Where it just really upset a lot of people. And so, people are going to be watching this season because of that, like just to see how they handle all of that, because it was absolutely insane in the game, right? So I'm really interested in terms of how they're going to handle that. I personally think it'll be like halfway through the series. You're going to see a lot of buildup of a lot of things. And I think right away, maybe not right away, but towards the end of the season, maybe you get this flashback of what happened, I guess to Abby and all that. And you start to learn a little bit more, and I think Joel will still be around. Maybe there's scenes and all that with Joel later on. And obviously, I think the game is going to be split up and the story is going to be moved around quite a bit over seasons 2 and 3 of The Last of Us. So that's why I say I'm curious about the structure of all of it, because I feel like, the whole point of season 2 is Ellie wants revenge. And so, like, are you going to do that for season 3 as well? Like, how are you going to end season 2? I don't think it's going to end the same way the second game ends. I think that's more saved for probably season 3. You see a lot of the community here that they're all staying at, and we actually see a few characters. We do see Tommy and whatnot. And so at this point here, I imagine it's a lot of what's happening in the beginning of the game and all of that. And yeah, very cool shot right here, which I think is related to some of the opening of the game, I believe. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else, or like the trailer that they first released for the game. We actually see Isaac here, and really cool to see that Jeffrey Wright is actually playing I guess the leader of that group and all of that. Because obviously he's in the game, right? But it's just, you never really see that. So just, yeah, super awesome to see here. We have Ellie and Dina here at some point running through, I'm not entirely sure where. Like, a lot of this could be taking place, after Joel's death, and they're, going after Abby and everybody. We have Dina and Ellie here, and yeah, it's really cool to see. A lot of this stuff is very just like, it's shot for shot with the video game, which is really incredible. Honestly, the fact that they brought a lot of these moments to life. I'm really interested in the environments and the sets and all that, because I imagine they really went into detail with a lot of that, right? Look at this right here. Like, this just really reminds me of the beginning part here. I don't know if that's Joel or who that is, or if it's Tommy and Ellie. Like, it's really hard to see here, but it could be Joel and Tommy, I guess, right? Like, I imagine a lot of this is going to be happening very early on in the season. Another shot here of Abby, and she could be at her father's grave. And I really feel like in terms of a lot of that, that's going to be the tricky thing for The Last of Us Season 2, is to get all of us to like Abby, right? Because that was really the issue with the game. And personally for me, like, that's the reason why I didn't like the character that much, was because of what she did to Joel, and it just didn't really make a lot of sense, and I was just too upset about it. I understand a lot of what Neil Druckmann was trying to say in terms of all the revenge stuff, but it also made no sense too, because Ellie was doing a lot of the same stuff, and I'm like, I don't really get the point here. Like, I feel like it was a bad decision overall to kill Joel, because it really hurt The Last of Us a lot. And I've experienced that a lot watching The Walking Dead. Like, certain characters you kill off, it really, really hurts the show overall, right? Like, killing off Carl really hurt the show. And I think there's some characters that you just, like, there needs to be a time when those things happen. And I think with Joel, I think everyone thought that he would eventually die, but just not in that way, not so early on. And also, everyone was so excited for the game, right? Everyone thought that this was going to be a really amazing game because the first one is just amazing. And so I think just how, insane that was of a moment and all of that. And then you introduce this newer character, Abby, who is the reason for Joel's death. Like, I understand why she's doing it. I understand what Neil Druckmann is trying to say and getting her to kill Joel, but it's just, I don't know. Like, I think a moment like that was just way too insane. And so we'll have to wait and see. TV shows are different. Like, that's the thing. Like, we might feel that way about the game, but like, actually watching the TV show, it could be totally different. Like, Abby might be an awesome character. Like, I'm open to seeing how they're going to tell this story. We then see Dina and Ellie, I believe, is here as well. They're running away from a bunch of clickers. And so, I don't know when this takes place. I feel like because of the red colors here and all that, this happens a little bit later, because I remember a part in the game where that does happen a little bit later. Like, they're in an environment like this. But here we get this shot of Joel, and he's tearing up here, and a lot of it could be, I guess, due to the ending of, season 1, some of the decisions that he made with Ellie, some of the stuff he's going through just in his own personal life and all that. Like, that's the one thing that I will say I think they will do here for season 2, which is they're going to expand the character a lot more, because that was sort of the issue with the second game, right? Like, everyone was so excited to see Joel after all of these years. He's like the Rick Grimes of this universe. And so you kill him off that fast, and it's just like, wait, what? You didn't really get to spend a lot of time with the character at all. So I think for sure, before they kill him off, there's going to be a lot of time, I guess, with the character here. I could see the character, honestly, just like being around the whole season. Like, they could play with time quite a bit this season, where Ellie is going through this and that, and maybe she's remembering something because of a moment that she had with Joel where they were talking about this or that. Like, I imagine there's going to be all these flashbacks to like this, and it's going to really mean a lot in terms of, what's happening in the story overall. So I still think we're going to see Joel quite a bit, but I don't think they're going to kill him off early on. I think he'll be around for the first couple of episodes. He'll be killed off, and then I think there'll be flashbacks to times beforehand. And then, I don't know where they're going to end the season, to be honest. I'm trying to think of, like, at what point in the game would it make sense to, like, end the story, right? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But then we go to the next shot here where we do see Joel, and it looks like this is where Joel, and I think Tommy's there as well, and they save Abby and her group, right? I'm pretty sure this is like gonna happen in like the first couple episodes or something like that. Like, it just kind of makes sense to me that it happens around this point here, because look at the environment. It's like wintertime. I believe this is sort of where it happens here. So that's why this confirms to me that I think Joel's gonna die this season, is because of this shot right here. Like, this is where Joel saves Abby. I mean, we know where that goes, right? So I think that is likely what is happening here. And I mean, it's gonna be honestly a really, like, I wonder how they're going to do it, because we're all expecting it. We're all expecting the moment to happen. We know how it's going to happen, but are they going to make it that brutal? Like, it's going to be really interesting to see if they're going to do it the exact same way as the game, or are they going to change some stuff up a bit? Because if they do, it's almost admitting that they were kind of wrong a little bit with the game, right? So I'm just curious in all of that. I really do wonder how they're going to handle it. And then we have a lot of shots here. We see Tommy, we do see Ellie, this shot of this, I guess, building or whatever. Something happens outside. There's like an explosion or something like that. We do see Ellie here, and that's the one thing that I just noticed a lot with this season, and I really wonder if it's on purpose in terms of the color red, because there's a lot of red here, right? And so red to me just means like revenge and like anger, right? So I just wonder if that is what they're going to be exploring, because again, I mentioned this earlier, like, that was the theme of the second game, right? Was Ellie wanted revenge. And you're seeing a lot of this here. I feel like Ellie at this point here is like right in front of Abby, or there's something going down here, and you cut to the ending here and everything is red here, right? And so that's why, to me, it just feels like the theme for this season is going to be revenge, or they're going to be doing the same thing as the game, which, I think is a good thing. I do. Like, that's what happened in the game. So obviously you want to tell the story here. It's just, how do you handle it? Because I feel like there is a better way to handle that story than what they did in the second game. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we have the release date here of for season 2. It is in April. Yeah, only a few months away. So we're probably going to get more trailers and a lot more information, a lot of interviews and all that. So whenever there's new news about The Last of Us season 2, I will talk about all of it. I will review the first season as well, because I have not reviewed the first season on the channel. So I'll have to do that. I guess let me know if you want me to review like each episode or just do a full season review, because I could do each episode. I think there's 8 or 9 episodes. So I could do, you know, the whole series, or I guess I could just review the entire series just as a whole. But yeah, I'm excited for The Last of Us season 2. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.